Good morning, happy new vlog. It's Saturday the 22nd, 3 days before Christmas. The roads are filled with delivery drivers like this guy.
Welcome to another episode of Toby's Stupid Vlog.
Afternoon, it's ever such a mild day. In fact, it's 13, it will be until the sunset. Probably the nicest day this month. So I'm going for a bit of a walk because we're going out this evening and we're having our first Christmas outing, I guess, of this period. We've got a friend's Christmas get together tonight, but it'd basically be a meat fest because we're going to a steak restaurant and then we have the Robinson Christmas tomorrow. So a bit of pacing myself and a bit of not eating and drinking is all going to work in my favour, I hope. Now, you probably don't know, but Kew has a disproportionately large number of churches, which is bizarre in the modern era, and all bar one of them is still an active church. So I'm just going to have a little wander around them. It's just an excuse to plan out or map out a walk, really. We're going to start with St Anne's Church on Kew Green, right next to Cambridge Cottage. Here it is, in the middle of Kew Green. Don't know that it's actually open, but we'll have a look. It's a very nice setting for a church. This obviously is probably as rural as this location has ever been. We have been in once on the open house. It's an interesting little space. But I haven't actually been into most of the churches around here, probably because I'm not overly religious. But I'm curious about churches. I always think they're interesting pieces of architecture, and I always like to have a nose around. So come about 500 metres south, and this is Catholic Church. Still part of the Churches Association. I don't quite know how that works. There doesn't seem to be any sort of divide between Protestant and Catholic in that local association. They just kicked out the Baptists, that's it. But this is St Winifred's, which is very Italian-esque, I guess you'd say, except for the red brick. This isn't a church, this is actually a church hall, but the church is a bit further down, which I'll show you in a moment. St Luke's. But before we get to St Luke's, we're going to get to the Iron Church, St John's, which is no longer a church. You can't really see it anymore because it's being redeveloped, but that was the Iron Church. And it was built as a social club, a working men's club, in like there over 100 years ago, I believe. And then it was a church briefly, and then the congregation moved, and it hasn't been a church for like the last 20 years or so, but it's been a community centre, but no more, sadly. It actually was sort of quite a historically important building, you would say, despite the fact it's made out of corrugated iron, but it's one of the earliest structures of that nature, and it's unfortunate that it's being redeveloped. And this is St Luke's, which is a very traditional Church of England structure. It's a very nice church, it's very well used as well. And you saw the church hall a moment ago. I'm just going to pause temporarily to show you the Christmas house of all Christmas houses in Kew. It's covered in reindeer and ferns and all sorts. I'm just off the A316. This is Raleigh Road United Reformed Church. It's definitely the least architecturally interesting so far, and actually it's quite an intimidating look, to be honest, not overly welcoming. Okay, that's quite a lot too. It's also a snowman. Multiple Santas. This is Kew Baptist Church, which is really just little more than a converted house down a cul-de-sac on Windsor Road in Kew. It's, you know, cosy, I would say. It's a very strange location for a church, I always think, but there we go. And lastly, just as the sun sets, we have the Barn Church of St Philip and All Saints, which is, I suppose, our local church, and the one we came to the fair at the other day. I think I mentioned it has wood that is taken from a barn in Surrey in the 1920s to feed the sort of growing Anglican population of the time. And incidentally is the only one that is actually open. So there we go, those are the many churches of Kew, including the one that is unfortunately no longer a church. I say unfortunately there is still plenty of church choice in Kew for a not overly religious population. We have a Baptist, a Methodist / United Reform, a Catholic Church and 3 Church of Englands. So that seems like a lot, seeing as there's no mosque, no synagogue, no temple, and no religious building of any other denomination. And despite the fact that there is definitely people of other religions living in Kew, so it just shows the sort of Christian hangover that exists in a lot of these what you might call waspy areas. It's just slightly uncomfortably too white and middle class. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my random tour of churches. I'm going to go home now and check I've done all my wrapping. So, some Christmas decorations, spectacular. Lower Morden Road. See, that's pretty full on. Santa's looks like he's in a disco. So that's pretty good. There's a giant fish there. There's always a couple of houses right in the middle there, just like, nah, I'm not doing it, I'm not getting involved. It's quite bold. Some of these are, well, they must have turned them off to get any sleep.
Believe.
What the hell is going on here? It's like going past a police station. It's just like, oh, they've gone in heavy. It's very hard to focus on. They're kind of getting more intense. This is pretty intense. You wait till next door. Here we go. Ready for it? What the hell? Just can't go with that one. That's ridiculous. Good Monday, Christmas Eve. It's a very cold and quite quiet Richmond, aside from the ambulance. And we are going up here on the right to the Ivy for Christmas Eve breakfast brunch before we head off.
Again, that one is from Grandma cover.
A giant road. We were talking about giant roads yesterday, weren't we?
Oh, a giant road! Wow!
I think you put it
On the table when you run back. Have you got that book? Have you got that book? Have you got it?
Oh, that looks wonderful. The Polar Express.
Right. Why don't you put them on the table, darling? What's it? Put the ones you might have on the table.
That book is fantastic, nature book, and a bird watching kit.
Learn all the birds. Got binoculars in and...
I'd like to learn about
Awesome.
There we came to.
Oh, that's lovely.
Cars! More cars!
More
What have you
cars,
got? Oh,
cupcakes.
look at
Cars,
that.
cupcakes. Cars and cakes full.
Cars! Cupcake! Great! I can eat some cars! I can eat some cars! I can eat some cars!
Wow, they're chocolate flavour, Walter.
I can eat some cars!
We can make some later today.
Yeah, but make some.
You can eat them.
I can eat cupcakes!
You can pop them in your...
Oh, look, a crocodile.
Is this one in the
Something's like that. Look at it.
It's definitely going to be closed. I know it's going to be closed. I'm going to have a full car.
What have you got? Oh, look, he's got a truck. Oh, fantastic truck.
Oh, that's lovely, Walter.
Well, they've got no shortage of pyjamas now, have they?
No, thank you very much. They're needed. Thank you. These are lovely, lads.
Last one.
And now that you've got one over there. Oh, sorry, you're opening it.
Yes, I can use the ribbon.
Yeah, if you
Ribbon.
ask Uncle Toby, that's
Yeah, we went and picked some, and then we went and we saw all these, and we went back and we picked more. We had 13. What? How many pounds? 13 pounds.
How's your dinner going?
Wow.
No answer.
Daddy, I've been parked on
Put your hand
We
up
just
if you
sent in
decorated
this
a
audio
gingerbread
photo.
house. Who decorated a gingerbread house?
Us.
You two?
And did I do the gingerbread man?
Oh, very nice. Is there a gingerbread man? Where is he?
Crystal, it's coming through
Yeah.
to the Johnny.
Oh, no.
Would you mind sending it to him?
Oh, there he is.
Thank you very
I
much.
can
No,
see
we
him.
can't do anymore. Never ever do anymore.
Hi, happy afternoon. What is it today? It's Thursday, the 27th of December. The year is all but done, and yet somehow, despite all of that, I've managed to get a job tomorrow. Shouldn't have said yes, really, but it's quite easy, so I'm going to do it. But it does mean I have to go and pick up a camera now, and then I have to go and film something at lunchtime tomorrow, and then I have to come back because we're doing Christmas at Kew tomorrow afternoon, evening, so no overrunning is allowed. So yeah, I thought I was going to have quite a relaxing day today and tomorrow morning. Tidy the flat, cook some dinner. Nope, none of that. Oh well. Now it might be that weird week, sort of nothing week between Christmas and New Year, but look, still Christmas decorations, and they're still nice. Hello, morning, it's Friday. That week sort of blew past quickly. I'm sure I was going to mention something yesterday I don't feel like I completed my thought yesterday. I picked up a camera and what have you, and that's actually not for today. Turns out it's for Saturday, so that's helpful. But anyway, the bit between Christmas and New Year. The reason it's so weird, one of the reasons anyway, is that Christmas and New Year is actually the same festival, separated by a week. Because obviously the whole birth of Christ didn't happen on the 25th of December. It was just moved there to coincide with the pagan New Year, which is the solstice. And then of course we've come up with another arbitrary New Year like a few days later. So now we have essentially Christmas New Year and then other New Year. And that's why it's such a weird sort of 1 week gap. It feels very unnatural. We could just combine the two things together. That would be much more sensible. So Christmas in Kew is coming at the end of this vlog, and this vlog will have contained a lot of nice Christmas lights, hopefully. But before we get to that, let's do a word of the week, and it's Christmas week, so this week's word of the week is present. A present. So first of all, in German, a present is ein Geschenk. Ein Geschenk. That is a present in German. And in Italian, present is un regalo. Un regalo. That is a present in Italian. There we go, that was this week's word of the week in German and Italian, and it was present. So I've just come out to Kew Pond, and the reason I've come out here is a few days ago, a podcast I was listening to, I do listen to, called Hello Internet. One of the hosts, Brady, was out here. He was gone to Christmas at Kew and had gone to the pub over here, and he did a hot stopper drop. Hot stopper is one of these things which you put in your drink to stop it, well, stop the drink coming out basically. And don't know if I can focus on this one. Not easily, but this is a special branded, podcast branded Hello Internet version. Hello Internet hot stopper found here. So that was a bit of fun. You probably think that's complete madness. That's fine. It's a good Christmas present to me, so I'm quite pleased. I'm now going to carry on my little walk and then have a light lunch, because we're eating quite early today before we see the lights. I've got to go back and check on my chilli.